Hey y'all, okay, so today we're doing something a little different. This is officially going to be my first college life diary prompt. Yeah, I was really nervous. Like, as soon as I graduated, I was really nervous going into college. College seemed like such a big step, and there was no movies like how there was with High School Musical about how to control yourself, or you know how what's this going to be like, because I thought High School Musical was going to be my high school experience, the singing, the dancing, the everything. But I would say college is just very much like an advanced high school. Like, duh, that makes sense. But it's like high school, but you know, just with older people. Thank you. With a harder curriculum, okay? So it's high school on steroids. I had a fear of missing out because I didn't really go to the same school as my friends. Like, I had a few associates that went to the same school as me, but as far as fun goes, like, we were at different schools, so I was scared that I like needed new friends, or that, you know, the ones that I did have were gonna start acting a certain way. But I definitely do want to say with that to try to talk yourself out of it. I would definitely say with FOMO, fear of missing out, it's all in your head. Like, you will never see how you look to other people, so don't get too caught up on your attendance or your availability, because that doesn't define who you are as a person, okay? College gets busy, so you're going to get hit with a few, oh, I can, or, you know. Fear of fitting in. It seemed like everybody already knew what they were doing in the classes that I was taking. Nobody seemed surprised in what we were learning. So it seemed like I wasn't on track, or like wasn't supposed to be in my classes. And trust me, everyone feels like that. Everyone feels like that. Like, I don't know personally, but I want to say about 50%, because I talked to a friend that I made in college, and she had imposter syndrome, which is feeling as if you don't belong, or that you're not supposed to be there. So just to backtrack, when you're moving in, you're figuring out what college you're going to, depending on the location, like how far it is for your parents or your guardians who are watching you. Don't know everyone's or anyone's relationship status or situation as of right now, but when it was my turn to move out, I did not want to move anywhere far. I just felt like if I was to move somewhere far where I didn't have any family, or like any excuse you, any immediate family, then I would feel kind of stuck, you know. I don't know if I regretted me being my third year, but I do want to say I can see, like, I can understand both sides of why people want to move far, and why some people don't want to move far from their families. Honestly, I can see both sides, because you get that sort of independence, which is my next thing. I had a dorm, 0 parental controls, right? And I was the type of kid who had a nighttime on their phone. So with me, just figuring out like what I was going to eat or what I was going to do after class without any help, and just kind of getting a routine for yourself is one of the most craziest fun things you can do. because you're finding out yourself. It's a lot of bumpy roads when it comes to that, as far as just, you know, seeing if the people who are in your lives now agree with or want to resonate with who you are. But as far as just moving in and being in your own space, it's definitely an advantage that people should take if they are moving on campus or even off campus to an apartment.
So here I am in my new apartment in a big city. They just dropped me off.
College comes with a lot of change, and I feel like if you do not know how to deal with it, or if you're the type of person who doesn't like change, then it's going to be very difficult for you to adapt to your environment.
Sorry y'all for the ones, but I don't have a routine from 9 to 5. I need to do this.
You can get into that habit after you adapt to the change that you're enduring in with this process of college. Like, it's college. Along with parents, speaking of parents, as far as high expectations goes with them, your parents want you to be a doctor. I mean, let's say your parents want you to be a lawyer. How specific? I always just resort to a doctor. Let's say your parents want you to be a lawyer, but you want to be a art person.
We got good and bad news. Good news, we got your payment, buddy. Bad news, they gave you life.
It's really not up to them, your major, or what you turn out to be, because you're the one doing that major. You're the one taking those classes. So I definitely would say to take everyone's, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do that, with a grain of salt, because this is you doing it. For example, last semester I took on Bio 230 because I had failed the first time in chemistry. But I was also taking I was also already enrolled for Calculus 1. So those being 3 big major core classes that you have to study for indefinitely and pay attention to indefinitely, I was not juggling. Mind you, I had 2 more classes on top of that. So I had 5 classes, 3 of them being really big and impactful, and I could not juggle it. And it was my fault, because when I asked to retake the course, that was fine, but then I was like, okay, well, we can just do chemistry and pre-calculus. Like, just too much math for me. So yeah, I would definitely say don't put everything on your plate all at once, because it will have you crash out and burn. I definitely felt like last semester was one of my worst semesters, and this is coming from somebody who's been on honor roll for high school. Like, I'm not used to failing, but failing, I feel, is a different word when you enter college, or when you enter, you know, out of that high school era, because I view failing as just negativity and not prospering from it, or like no outcome being from it. But I also do feel like rejection is just something that keeps you from being on the wrong path, or just something that delays you from what you're not ready for, or what you're not meant to do, is how I see it. If you cannot control things, then you cannot control the outcome of somebody wanting you for that job, or somebody wanting you for that internship. But what you can control is how you're formatting your resume and your CV, or how your email looks when you ask for that job. You know, just certain kinks that just get you just through there. But speaking of jobs and balancing, I definitely do want to say it's a hard switch. Like, 3 semesters I worked at Starbucks, but Starbucks was asking for so much from me, and I felt like I could not give it. Like, they're just like, hours, give me some hours, give me some hours.
What do you want me to die? Because that's where I am.
Give me some hours. It's just like I have school, so I'm giving you everything I have already and you're asking for more. So when you feel burnt out or when you feel like you've given enough and they're still expecting more, whether it's from a job or a relationship, because then it puts you in an awkward spot. Oh, should I do school or work? And depending on your mindset, you're choosing school. And if you're choosing work, you need to think about what you can do to make money monetarily without going to work. Like maybe a paid internship or a work study. For my university, work studies are, I don't know, well, at least for me, to apply for work studies, I did not get accepted to any. Bless you. Continuing, yeah. As far as friends, associates, and classmates go, me being heavy on the friends part because I'm somebody who's like, oh, she's my friend. Not everybody's your friend. I'm sorry. Yes, it still goes on in college. Me as a person, had a more stern time finding the people who like kind of were like me or did the same stuff as me or was around the same area. But I definitely would say you never know unless you have a conversation with somebody. There's a lot of stern faces and resting bee faces there, but you never know what somebody's going through or why they look like that, or they could just be normal, just looking like they're about to sock somebody. You never know. So I would say attempt to talk to people who you find interesting, or try to find people. I definitely would say try to find people your race. Me looking for black people. There's a lot of black people at my school that I have not talked to, and I'm like, shame on me. We should be sticking together, especially in this rough time. I don't want to talk political or anything, but I definitely do feel like a recession is coming just as far as jobs and how the job market is going, and our president is taking us downhill at this moment. So I do think you meeting somebody is going to benefit you towards the future when you have to like move into somebody's extra mansion at Bora Bora or something when the world goes to an end, just anything. So yeah, I would say, but I would also say be careful because college is a portal of people all different ages, sizes, and races. And I would definitely say it's kind of scary, like trying to fill someone out and then let's say they end up being a bad person. Like, let me give you an example. I was good friends with somebody in my chemistry class, but it was just off of us being, lab partners and talking. It went from small to, me studying over at her house and us talking on the phone and studying on FaceTime, stuff like that. I feel like one of like those transitions are the best because it's genuine and you're also like building trust in the person, and I'm sure vice versa when it comes to just casual or meaningful talks or conversations or discussions. Let me give you an example of a bad friend. Someone who shoves in their face everything that they've done for you. Actually, let me reverse. I met someone, not gonna say the name, thought she was a pretty good person until she I'm really trying not to go too far into this. Basically just mentioned everything she did for me, which is like, you can't just do this one thing for me. And it was just because I said no to something. And I said no to something that I don't say often. You can always say no. Another thing. I tend to push myself to the edge and kind of not think about what I need when someone's asking me for something. Put it like that. So I was doing something for this girl who I thought was my friend, and she ended up doing me wrong. So the next time she asked me for a favor, I said no, and we just got into a whole argument about it. And mind you, she's not in my age range. She had mentioned that she's older than me. But I feel like as far as just being mindful of who you're allowing in your circle, and you know, because I like went over her house, and it was just a lot. It was a lot. But I do say, when you meet those type of people, you do see what you don't like. You see the characteristics or the traits that you don't want, which is good when dealing with adults, because you're not gonna like everybody, and everybody's not gonna treat you nice. But I do want to say, handle it with class. Nothing ever should involve violence. I definitely think, and to keep the communications line open when you hear or see something that you don't like that a person did, just making sure that they know. And if they are actively ignoring it, or if they are actively like denying it or being defensive, you know, red flag, red flag, red flag.
Yeah, I'll just do it. No big deal. I'll just dive into it and just start singing. Jesus, my heart is beating so fast.
As far as attendance, nobody's holding your hand during college, so I do want to say, like, yes, you can miss a few days if it gets to that point, but don't have it go to the extreme where you're just like,
Oh, nobody cares, and I'm not going. Oh, I can just do this, I can just do that, and I can do my homework.
no, because then you're gonna be stuck, and there's probably 3 homework assignments in that class time period. So it's just essential for you to go to class because you're paying to go there. So I definitely would say to keep yourself on track. It definitely did get me as a freshman. Not as hard as most people, because I already had like a procrastination thing. I'm trying to focus on it when it comes to homework as well. We're about to touch on that. But as far as attendance goes, I really do think that you should put your all in attending to all your classes and attending to any seminar and event that you're interested in. And there's no popular route to go on as far as college, or no like obvious success plan. You know, this is your experience, so it's custom to you. I would definitely say prioritize your homework. I'm still trying to get in the midst of making me a schedule to make sure my homework is done before the weekend. I suggest you guys do that too. Because weekdays, school, and then weekends, homework. So you're still thinking about school. It does get stressful, but I do want to say, if you were to cut it down in chunks and do it on a Thursday and Saturday, then you would be able to split up your homework assignments and have less stress and be more okay with doing your homework and, you know, being able to catch up. That's just how I view it, because I am a huge procrastinator. Still trying to kill it to this day. Actively trying to kill it to this day. But I've gotten better ever so slightly. 11:59 doesn't scare me, you know, especially when people accept late work, but they deduct points. So that's the thing, you know. It's kind of like a loan. Like, hey, yeah, you can get all this money, but you're gonna have to pay us back, and it's gonna be it's gonna be more than you originally had opted for, because we just can. That's all I have to yap about, though. I would definitely say, if I was to watch this video as a freshman, maybe I would have done better. But you learn from your mistakes, and you definitely teach people on your mistakes so they don't make the same, or I can heed you of them so you don't make the same. Of course you're allowed, and of course you're going to make mistakes, but you know, just as long as you know that you should be at the center of your attention. You know, this is your future, not anyone else's. And I just want you to know that there's no right way to take college. Okay, it's stressful, yes. It's not gonna be perfect. If it ends up being perfect in your way, isn't somebody else's perfect in another way. So you see, it's still not perfect. I'm just talking now. Okay. But yeah, that's all I have as a 3rd year college student. I'm just excited for my journey and to give you advice as I walk the steps of college myself. So yeah.